My name's Sarah, I'm one of the organisers of the event. I mainly deal with the school trips and media, social media, things like that, and just generally help out as well with whatever's needed.
Well, my name's Kirsty Sanderson. We're the North West Military Collectors. This is Camp Group Bearer, and we do Second World War German.
This is our 6th show. We're getting bigger and bigger every year. We're now actually the biggest show in the north of England, and we have a big variety of things that are going on. So we have an Allied set, so the Americans and British. We have World War I. We also have a a post-war display, so sort of more modern warfare, and we have the Axis, so Germans and Russians as well.
Basically, we're portraying the rearguard action at Dunkirk as it was in 1940, the summer of 1940, between May and June. What you can see today is trenches, hopefully amongst the beach scene, as you can see here, with the various implements and machine guns and equipment that would have been seen back there in 1940 for Operation Dynamo.
There's a team of 8 of us. We work for pretty much 12 months solid, getting organised for everything. We all specialise in different areas, so we'll have a team that are working with the vehicle displays, we'll have a team that are working with the reenactors, and then other bits and pieces as well, and sort of the admin management and things like that.
I think it's really important because obviously we've learned a lot of lessons over the years from wars, etc. We always learn from wars. There's a lot of advancements in technology and things like that throughout war years, surprisingly enough. And I think it's an important part of education to bring on the young people of today, to remind them of what we actually did to be able to live how we live today, freedom of speech and all that sort of thing. It's important. We don't glorify the image of war. None of this is intended to glorify anything, not gunslinging, anything of that order. It's just to give the true feeling of what our lads went through on the beaches back then.
On the Friday we get some school trips in as well, so we get to bring those round, and they get a lot more up close and personal with the reenactors and vehicles that they wouldn't normally be able to do once they come over the weekend, because there's such a higher number of people around. And we get a good support from the local community. A lot of people want to come here every year, and we get a lot of people that do come back every year, but we also get new visitors every year as well.
When we have like the school days, so the school children come round, and a lot of them are covering the Second World War in the curriculum, so it gives them a really good chance to actually look, touch, hear, smell, etc. Everything that would have been there at the time. It's all right learning it in a textbook, but to actually come and see the things is a different matter. It's really important for them to learn it because they will have had family members that were involved in some way, and it's important that we don't forget about the sacrifice that was made by an entire generation, for us to have the freedom that we have today.
The main thing we want to do is to be able to educate the next generation, and even the generation we're in that maybe don't know that much about the war and everything that happened. The guys that you see around site, the reenactors and everything, are really clever. They know a lot about everything, so they're not just standing in a uniform. They can tell you about what the uniform was for, why it was like that, and about the history of the group that they represent and what they did during the war. We have the World War I do a battle reenactment as well, so you get to see what they would have gone through during World War I, and then we do vehicle displays around the arena as well. And then at the end of the day we do a big battle reenactment on the World War II field, just to, sort of big pyrotechnics and everything, and it's really exciting for people to watch.
Equipment is all, in the main, genuine early 1938, 1939 and 1940 dated equipment that the boys would have gone to France with originally. The kit that I'm in is the original 37 pattern BEF equipment set, the uniform and everything. Obviously I've got the sword bayonet that goes on the SMLE rifle, which was standard issue to the troops back then. The old style entrenching tool, which, as you'll see around the site, is quite different to the later ones that people were fitted with. When we first went to France, basically we went over kitted in lots of ways. As you can see, I'm only wearing the small webbing set at the moment, but if you had the full setup on, it's like quite an amount of equipment to carry. But as the war progressed, it got less and less and more akin to what was intended. As for the equipment, as you can see, there's various pieces of heavy machine guns, like this one here. It's a Vickers heavy machine gun, which was a standard issue 303 heavy machine gun used by the British Army throughout the war. In fact, it was well used in the First World War. Like the lorry behind you's got a World War I version in with the fluted barrel. These are the straitjacket ones that came on later for the Second World War in 1940. We've got various mortars in place, as they would have been. The 3-inch mortar there, which was quite a heavy mortar for defence use, etc., for the onslaught of the Germans when they finally tried to storm the beaches, if you will, towards the end of June. The group that I'm with today, they're all friends, they're all local, they're all into it and passionate about what we do to get things right. Anybody can dress up in a uniform, but to be right, we don't see ourselves as toy soldiers. We're here to remind people of what the boys went through in 1939, basically.
Our funding comes from the ticket sales of people coming through the door. We do sometimes do some raffles and things like that to try and sort of get a bit more financing. But then, we basically then pay out for everything. We rent the land and we transport vehicles over and arrange for the vehicles to bring vehicles like this across. And then everything then goes back into the pot for the following year. So whatever's made then goes for the next year's event. A lot of planning goes into the battles and the pyrotechnics and everything as well to make sure that everybody that's watching it can enjoy it and not worry about the safety.
Everybody's battle ready, they're all waiting. And lots of explosions, bangs, jolly good show really.
The main thing is to commemorate the hard work that everybody put in during the wars, and to remember it and to pass it down through generations, because unfortunately, the veterans and things aren't going to be around forever to tell their story.
We try to keep it as authentic as we possibly can. It's important. It's got to be done properly, otherwise, you don't want to make a mockery of what was an extremely serious and really quite sad, period of our history.